What is going on, peeps? I thought I'd bring another quick, analysis video of something, two things I purchased in the last couple of days, just to show you the reason why. Hey, I might be wrong. It might go to zero, for example. You never know. But just like with the Amazon world, some things are crap. Some things you lose money on, and that's just part of the game. So you don't really think about it. You sell 500, 300 listings. You're going to get some that turn to crap. And then you're going to have to dump them or they expire or whatever ends up happening. And so you don't really worry about that side of things. It could happen on anything. All you can do is focus on your percentages and see where it goes. So I mentioned these before, Desperate Apewives. Now, the reason I'm looking at them is because obviously the market's quite up at the moment, right? On the rankings, I'll jump into a sec. A lot of things are up and they're like way higher than they were like at the beginning of the month. Or even just before, end of December. For example, this was at like 70 ETH. These were like 1.9. These were, I think, 6. Mutant Apes were 6. The lands and that are not really moved. These were like, I don't know what these were, less than 10 anyway. Like much love. The one, yes, I don't know them all. I don't know. I have a watch list here, to be honest. So I just jumped to my watch list. And these are the ones I watch. Just to get like my bearings in the market. Like these are the ones I mentally sort of prepare myself. These were like 0.2 the other week. These were, I think, between like 3 and 4 ETH or something. NFT World's been there for a while. I was flipping these back when these were 0.4, buying a couple and flipping them. This was like about 1 ETH cheaper, so nothing crazy on that. Nothing crazy. These are nothing crazy. Some things haven't mooned or haven't gone up. These are like 0.1s. It's 3x. Pretty static price on that. Pretty static price on that. This is just like a reference point. So like not projects I've invested in. Although some are. They're more like I'm just historically been like sort of jousting between them. So I'm like, okay, that one's that. That was that like a month ago. Okay, so that's not mooned. I mean? Like, there's some that have gone crazy. And, it doesn't mean that they all will in a bull market. But it's definitely interesting to see what kind of things are doing what in the market compared to each other. And these are the main ones that I kind of just, I always look at the rankings to look at them all. But I also look at this as a quick glance into what's going down. And I always start with the most volume. Usually that's going to be like the sort of best or better project. Not necessarily. It could be just a brand new thing that's pumped, had a lot of volume, but yeah, overall. So obviously you don't want to be jumping in on something like this because not that it wouldn't go to 16, for example. There's no reason why it couldn't. Things happen more weird. This went from 6 to 16. So again, what drives that price? That's like a completely. You spend like 100 hours researching the project and the mechanics and blah blah blah. But obviously, I want to get in on projects that are not already pumped. Yeah, so Desperate Apewives that I've mentioned for a while. I was looking to get in, wasn't I, on this? And the reason is because they're a decently established project. If we go to like a year. They came out like October 2021. So they've been around when I say established, they've been around more like a month. And you can kind of see here. Now the volume is tapering off here. This was December, so obviously it seems like it looks like a long time ago. But really even here with the 100 plus sales, there's a bit here, but obviously here was crazy. And here, the volume again, and you can see what happened. It tapered off again, and it's tapering off. Now obviously you don't know where that bottom is. The bottom could even be somewhere around 0.35, potentially. But that was more in a downturn market. So the whole market as a whole was coming down. Everything pretty much. Literally everything was coming down. And so obviously right now we're not really in that phase of the market. And what I mean is if you just want to go and have a look, let's see if we can see that far back. This is the market. So if you look in, really it was the end of October. That was crap. You can see here the volume. So you can see this is, and also, even though that's weird. You can't see the rest of October, probably why. But you can see here in November, the highest like daily volume was sort of about. No, that's December. It was here. No, that's December. So it was around in here. Yeah, in here. And you can see it was like the lowest volume month, and we're now here. So we're all-time highs in terms of activity going through the marketplaces and stuff. And you can see the volumes increased. And obviously that means a lot of things are going up. Usually, that's kind of how. It doesn't mean everything will. Some stuff goes down, of course. But you want to be aware that obviously different market conditions are going to affect things effect, affect, effect. Whatever one it is, differently. And for me, this did have a bit of a run in December, but the real bull market in terms of volume did not really occur until somewhere around here. Yeah, we had a couple of spikes, like 1, 2, 3, 4 days, across here. If you want to count that, 5, but really it wasn't much. It doesn't mean that projects, when it's a sort of a down market, can't go up, because I'm just showing you Desperate Apewives did. But I'm kind of, either it's not correlated to the market as much as the others, they might have their reasons, or it's just lagging, or it's ahead, which is something I'm also going to learn as I do this. The longer I do it, the longer I'll get tells. If this happens again, if it goes into a bear market and it then spikes, I'm like, okay, that's weird. For some reason, this seems to go up in a bear market. Therefore, I want to be buying in the bull market when it's down, so that I can make good profits in the bear market when it's harder to make profits. This is just like, not that I'm going to be doing this, but this is like my thought process. I'm like, just sort of writing a story to see, like, okay, and then what I'll do is I'll just watch, and then as day to day, as things materialize, I'll get a better gauge on how things are working. And that's why I like to keep a relatively select projects. Not that I don't like research new ones and look at other stuff, because I do, but in terms of like the ones I focus on, in the top 100, half of them I haven't got a clue about, and so that's an interesting metric that I like to use. But ultimately, I don't want to get into something when it's like this, yeah. So if you went into rankings and you went into, I can grab 2 up, QuickTime, World of Women, and Mutants. Boom, boom, boom. So slow, yeah. So here we go, World of Women. So actually it was like, yeah, end of December it was down here. But that's average, remember, so the price would have been like 1.6 to 1.8 probably as a floor price. Now the floor's up here. Obviously, it got to highest as 11.58, and I did see that at one point. Crazy, just like went up in like a handful of days. And again, Mutants, boom, boom, boom. Doesn't look as crazy, but you can see around here it's like 6. Obviously, the average price is higher, yes. And it got to 20, and it's now like 16. Yeah, and I don't really want. Not that it's not. Yeah, you can see this is actually tapering off a bit. So it's not terrible, but I'm not looking for that because I'd rather not, even though it's relaxed a bit in Mutants, you can kind of see. I'm still trying to look for the undervalued ones. Obviously, make sure the project, you've done your research, you know what the project is and all that kind of thing, and not just going, oh, look at the charts, buy. Yeah, don't just do that. But I went ahead and anyway, I bought 2. Now, obviously, the price can go down, and I've had that many times, yeah, where the price just goes down. So which one do I have open here? That one. So let's grab that one open. So I bought this one, and I bought this one. So, annoyingly, something I like to look at is the previous sale price. You can't see it on here, which is fine because it looks like someone hasn't really ever sold it since they got it. But on this one, you can see that someone paid a month ago 1.85 for this. And I picked it up as a bid 0.55 3 days ago. Picked this one up 3 days ago, 0.52 as a standard buy. So it's probably around the same price that I got the 2. And yes, it is lower. Yeah, it is lower, and the reason for that is because the volume is very low. I don't really care about, basically, because the volume here is like 25 sales and all that kind of thing. Obviously here it's going to get more volume, tends to go up, more volume tends to go up. Obviously this is all good volume and it's going down here, but you get what I mean, like the momentum of nothing to up volume is leading to the up trend. And then obviously as the volume decreases, yes, you can see here it does pop back up. So it's no perfect, there's no perfect synchronicity. It does the same here. But there is some volume compared to like real tiny. Yeah, but that's not perfect, yeah. But you can see the rough momentum when there's consistent days of volume. The odd day of volume doesn't always matter. Like here you can see it does do that, but the thing is, this average price, if like a 10th or 20th rare was bought on this day, the average price is going to get dragged up quite a lot. So again, you don't 100% know what's involved. Obviously, if the number of sales was like 12, something that was sold for 40 ETH or 30 ETH, that's going to bring up that average really high. So, but obviously one sale in 476 would bring up the average far less. And I can see that the volume has just been going down. Yes, it's ticked up a little bit here and there, but I was very much like, I've been watching this a good couple of weeks now. It's probably from back here somewhere, probably from about here. I was looking at it, noticing obviously the trend. And I thought, okay, I want to be buying in at 0.5. I believe it did get there once. Maybe it didn't. I look at so many, I don't look at loads, but I look at obviously a bunch, and I end up sort of confusing myself sometimes, like, oh, did I see that one before at that price? Maybe it was here. No, I don't know. But I ended up signing around this 0.5 was the ideal price, but I got in a bit higher because, because I put a bid in at whatever I put the bid in at, because obviously you don't pay gas on this, so I was happy to do that. And the other one, I kind of got off it, didn't I? The other one was even a bit less than that, but 0.05 is pretty small amount. And obviously I got a little bit of verification of that the average price is sold for here. Hey, don't get me wrong, it may never go back up there again. Ignore all this. This account may be compromised. You do see that sometimes. People can go and flag accounts if they think something suspicious is going on. But anyway, that's historically not going to be relevant right now. And I just went and bought. All I do is I check the rarity. Not like this. You can quickly check it here, but it's quite difficult to tell. I go onto like rarity tools or something, have a quick check, pick up some, put bids in across the board, or buy one if I see it decent price. I don't want to go crazy and keep buying as the price comes down, because then you're maybe over leveraged in one collection, and then obviously you're reliant on that collection doing something. Otherwise, your money's stuck or you'll sell for a loss. Yeah. So I got two because I wanted to basically sell one for 1 Ethereum, which is give or take almost getting my break even. It's actually not. It's like about probably 0.15 or 0.1 that I'll still have in the game. Give or take, it'll be fine. And I'll probably sell the second one at around 0.5, something like that, which will give me like a one overall. It'll be like sub 2x, whatever. But obviously, when you're playing with larger sums, 1 ETH, like 1 ETH to 1 ETH to 2 ETH, making a 2 ETH is obviously a lot. You can do a lot more with 1 ETH than you can with flipping 0.1 to 0.2, for example. Yeah. So I don't mind taking, in theory, a less percentage on the slightly more expensive ones, because the actual value is far greater. But on the flip side, it can leave you short in terms of not having something for if it goes crazy. And what I mean by that is, if I could just say I'm going to sell a second one around 0.5, maybe 0.4, I'll just see how the market is. But it may mean that, if it got up to 2.2, I miss out. Yeah. You could let's do the last time. Yeah, obviously here it got to about, I wouldn't really use that as such. You could use it, but I wouldn't use that as much. You could use here, or you could take profits at something like that, which would be about 1.5, and then you could take profits at 2. It depends on your risk. Actually, I'm happy to make 1 bit ETH on 2 NFTs, and I don't know, what would that be? $4,000 in pounds, maybe £4,500 in, even if you had it for 2 months. 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 2 months, even in 3 months, that's still decent for just 2 NFTs. That costs you about 1 ETH. Not that, obviously that's not going to make you a millionaire or anything, but it's more about scaling that kind of principle over into the long term, because I'm looking at this long term. I think it's going to take me at least a full year just to get a good hang of everything. So that will be this September, end of September, and even then, let's say that I'll give myself the rest of the year as a learner. I've got my L plates on, And the reason I'm getting into this, because obviously, as there's a bull market, there's less and less projects that really look worth getting invested in unless you're willing to take more risk. For me, being newer, obviously not wanting to risk, like to lose everything, as much on those kind of like hype projects that are already gone up, like some of the, not that these are hype projects like Wall Women and that have already gone up and going to go back down again, but it's like, that could go back down to 12 or whatever, and again, you're going to have 16 Ethereum to buy this, or you're going to have 8 Ethereum to buy this, and then you've got one NFT that's, I don't know, 40 grand or something. I don't even know what that is. What would that be? 25 grand or something. And obviously you can see the prices here, like, yes, there are things that are under, but has this already gone on the run? What does it even do? What the hell is this? This is some random, like, you can get rug pulls. People just make a random project, pump it up, and then they run off with the money. That happens. So, for me, I wanted to be a little bit more like focusing on the things that I'm aware of, that I know about more. Obviously, you can go and do your research on new stuff if you don't know, and if you're looking for opportunity, if you can't find any, sure. But I saw this. I like the entry price. Even if this goes down to 0.3 or 4, I'm not too worried. Because that could happen. I could even pick another one up for 0.3 if it ever got that low, because then what I could do with that strategy is I could have 0.3 I could sell for the 1 ETH, and that would be 0.6, and that would be like covering about 2 of the NFTs, and then I could sell the second one to cover the third NFT and have profit, and then the third one you could just let run. Like you could basically just let run, and at some point, if it got to 4 ETH and you were like, you know what, we've had a good ride. There's other things that I want to get into, and you take the 4 ETH profit, and that's clean profit on top. Lots of strategy. You could do that with 4, 5, 6, 7. You could obviously keep extrapolating that out and keep chipping away as things move. But obviously, again, like I mentioned, potentially don't want to get too deep in one collection. Put all your liquidity in one place for these reasons. If you're selling on Amazon, you don't want to buy 50,000 of one thing and that's it. Your money gone. You have to sell that item. Same kind of thing. So with me, again, a couple of previous months, I have bought some stuff which has been not that it hasn't sold and got profit or it's not profitable, but it's kind of like, do I really need that? Can I consolidate a bit more? Because I was buying a lot of one collection or pretty much one of something. Yes, I was making profit, but then for example, the other day I bought the Landau, bought it at 0.1, sold it for 0.29. At one point it was at 0.64, but I just kept it. Again, I probably should have sold it, but I wasn't at home at the time. I was drunk at a concert, so I let myself off. And then someone bought it off me, 0.29. And about 6 hours later, you sold it for 0.58. But the only reason I did that, there was a reason behind it. It was because they were bringing out other tiers of NFTs. Because this was a Genesis one. And actually, I found, even after, I found it impossible to find the Genesis amongst all the others. And that put me off as a potential buyer. Not that I was looking to buy again, but I was just going through the process. Now it's better, and it's gone. Things are pretty much the same. It's a bit higher, but that happened. If I had more than one, I could sell that one for profit, cover two. I bought two of them for 0.1, which is 0.2. I could sell the one I sold for profit and get 0.29, basically break even off the gas. And then the other one I let ride. And I like the project. Yeah. And that's really what I want to try to do more of, rather than split, my liquidity in many places. So I've tried to consolidate a little bit and over the last week, I've tried to take smaller profits on things that I don't probably really want to hold as such. Not that I don't like them. I just want to be able to invest my time and energy a bit more wisely in multiples of the same project. If I'm doing my research, I might as well double down on one project instead of split it across two. And later on, when I've got more liquidity, I can then obviously build my catalogue of projects that I like and that I'm aware of and that I've been watching for a long time. I understand a little bit more of their behaviour. Again, everything's random. It's all psychology of human mind, isn't it? When things go up and down, like, is it worth that? Is it worth that? Well, people are buying it for 50 ETH. It must be worth, that's not even anything I know about, but you get what I mean. And so that's what I'm investing in, because there's a lot of things that I wouldn't even touch now because they are already overhyped. There are some new things which are interesting that I'm looking at, but again, I don't want to put. They're more like, there's like a software that I like that's coming out or came out, or minting, whatever, yesterday, and it's like a public mint today. But there's only it's not many. There's only 3,000 in the whole collection, but that's more because it's got like a software that can help me with my trading. So it's new, and I like a lot of the Landaus or metaverse style launches, mintings, because they are relatively cheap to get in, 0.07 or 0.1, that kind of price. And so I don't mind getting involved with some of that, because I love the concept of like a game with land and that kind of thing. So I'm happy to do that, and as long as I research it, that's all good. But in terms of where the potential profits will come, because obviously that's more of like I don't know the time horizon on those kind of gaming things, so I'm not spending a lot of money on them. But I'm also focusing on looking for flips. So I've got these. It could take, this happened in December 8th. It could take another 6 weeks until you see anything. It could go down to 0.3. Now, where's the floor going to sit? That's a little bit of an unknown, but I like to almost see things happen before I then decide next, because everything happens in cycles. It's not just one cycle. Like Bitcoin's been on 5 up and down. It's gone up and down 90%. Like it's gone up about 60,000%, but it's gone down from its all-time highs like 85, 90%, like 5 times. Well, between about 85, between like 79% and like 94%, if you take all the different years, something like that. All the up and down, and they're just cycles, like with any market in the world, unless they are manipulated. Just a funny joke I thought I'd add there. But anyway, can leave the video there, everyone. Just some of my thoughts on whatever the hell this video is about. So yeah, hopefully you liked it, and I'll see you all on the next one. Bye.